Welcome to Quilters 101. We are going to discuss the steps in beginning a quilt. We will discuss choosing your pattern, your plan, cutting and piecing your top. By the end of this presentation, you will know what you need to do in order to be properly prepared for beginning a quilting project. When you begin thinking about a quilt, think about what you want the quilt to be. Is it a showpiece, a utilitarian piece, or is your quilt going to be a gift of love to someone else? Do you want something quick and simple or a quilt that is more complex? Evaluating these points will help you choose your pattern. Once you have decided what quilt you would like to create and have your pattern, you will then choose your fabric. Depending on how long you have been quilting, you may have some pieces of fabric already in your quilting stash that you may want to incorporate. If you choose to do this, it is helpful to bring the fabric with you or a swatch of the fabric to assist with matching the other fabrics you would like to use. Just a note, if you decide to buy fabric just to have the fabric, I would suggest buying at least 3 yards at a time. This will give you more flexibility when you use it in future quilts. There are a few processes that are suggested prior to making the first cut. Before you use your fabric in a quilt, you should wash it and iron it. This ensures that after the quilt is put together, you don't have dyes from one fabric bleeding onto another. Also, so that any shrinkage occurs before you put it in your quilt. This will prevent the fabric from pulling apart and showing the thread after it is completed. After ironing and ensuring that the grain of the fabric is correct, and this was shown in a previous video, using your preferred method, ensure you measure correctly. I prefer a cutting mat and rotary cutter. For me, this gives me the more accurate cut, which makes the piecing easier. If you prefer to measure and use scissors, that is fine as well. It is important when you are cutting and even quilting to find the process that is most enjoyable for you. This helps to prevent UFOs, or unfinished objects. If you find yourself in this situation, find a local quilt shop that has UFO events, a place where people can gather and work on completing those unfinished projects that they have accumulated. Try not to choose projects that you don't enjoy. This step can help reduce your UFO population. The piecing of your quilt. There will be different areas that will need to be pieced in your quilt, or pieces of fabric that are sewn together. Usually there are blocks that need to be pieced, and then piecing those blocks together to form a pattern. When you begin, see what shortcuts are available for use, such as possibly sewing 2 different fabrics together in different configurations that you may cut and create as part of your block. If you are piecing blocks, it is helpful when you have sewn your pieces together that you square the pieces. This is where you use a square ruler to even out your square, so that when you piece the blocks together, things match the way that they should, and it will relieve frustration in the long run. When you are working with piece squares, it helps to lay out your squares as they should be sewn, creating the pattern that you are expecting to create. Laying out your squares gives you the opportunity to make sure that things are in place as they should be. This prevents what is called the frog stitch, or ripping out mis-sewn seams. If you find yourself stuck as you're piecing, do not let yourself become frazzled. Look at where you are in the process. You may need to rip out a seam and re-sew a part of the quilt top, and that is okay. It happens often. Take your time, enjoy the creating. Do not let the hiccups hamper your progress. Remember to enjoy the journey of creating your quilt. Take a moment after your top is pieced to enjoy completing this step. Next will be choosing the backing, and deciding on what type of batting that you would like to use. There are several. I prefer cotton, which is a little heavier and warmer, and it's great for winter. You also have many other options like bamboo or polyester. It is all a matter of choice. After you've made your choice, then you will decide what quilting pattern you would like to use. Remember, enjoy the journey. Don't let the process overwhelm you, and take things one step at a time. Thank you for joining me today, and I look forward to the next time that we are together.